Kia ora koutou.
Kia ora koutou katoa.
At ACC, we're working in new ways to respond to the needs of whānau and to uphold our responsibilities to Māori under Te Tiriti o Waitangi. We're partnering with Māori to develop localised Kaupapa Māori solutions.
As part of our plan to develop solutions by wakarohe across the motu, we're excited to go to market to find design partners in Te Tai Tokerau and Tāmaki Makaurau.
Next, you'll hear more about this opportunity and how you can get involved. Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Kia ora tātou, ko aura pai toku ingoa, e uri ahau no ngā puhi, Ngāti Parau me Ngāti Kahununu.
Kia ora tātou, no Ngāti Tūwhare toa ahau, ko te mirirangi tōku ingoa.
ACC is here to help prevent injuries and to get you back to everyday life if you've had an accident. We're here to provide an opportunity to design kaupapa Māori initiatives and services that are by Māori, with Māori, for Māori and for all, in partnership with ACC.
Kaupapa Māori has a role to play across all stages of wellbeing. We want to offer our kiritaki, our clients and whānau choice through Kaupapa Māori solutions. To do this, we're looking for Kaupapa Māori partners who can design injury prevention initiatives to strengthen our whānau and treatment and rehabilitation services to heal our whānau.
Our goal is to embed kaupapa Māori initiatives and services as options for whānau across the motu. To do this, we're developing solutions regionally in stages. We want to partner with Māori in each rohe who have the expertise to design local solutions with a focus on the primary prevention of sexual violence and rehabilitation and treatment for kiritaki with complex injuries and a high level of need. Over time, we'll look to build further prevention initiatives and services to support other injury types.
If this mahi aligns with your aspirations or those of your organisation and you have experience in prevention or treatment or both, we want to hear from you. In this video, we'll explain a little about the kaupapa, the procurement process and how you can submit your application or registration of interest to join us. We're now open to receive registrations of interest in our second tranche in the wakarohe of Te Tai Tokerau and Tāmaki Makaurau.
Opportunities for developing services in other rohe will follow. Details can be found in the registration of interest.
If you have any pātai about the application, there's a certain time frame for you to submit questions and ask for clarifications, so make sure you get in touch before the deadline for questions.
To explain what we mean by some of the terms we've mentioned, when we talk about complex injuries or a high level of need, this includes a range of injury types. Two examples are what we call sensitive claims and serious injuries.
A sensitive claim is a mental injury caused by certain criminal acts, which include some forms of sexual and gender-based violence. A serious injury is an injury that causes long-term effects and disabilities, including spinal and traumatic brain injuries. This includes kiritaki with intensive and extensive needs, which may be mental or physical. When we talk about injury prevention, we mean minimising the incidence and impact of injury by preventing harm for whānau, hapu, iwi and the wider hapori before it occurs. This includes creating supportive environments, strengthening community action and developing the skills and knowledge for whānau and communities to live well. And finally, we understand kaupapa Māori solutions to be Indigenous, localised, whānau-centred solutions designed by Māori, with Māori, underpinned by tikanga and delivered by providers who identify as Māori, primarily for Māori, but available to all.
So, what are we doing? Our Kaupapa Māori health services and injury prevention initiatives are new and developing approaches for ACC. Our board and leadership team tautoko adopting our Māori approaches to respond to the needs of whānau. We want to uphold our responsibilities to Māori under Te Tiriti o Waitangi by delivering equity and options for Māori. We want to improve access, experience and outcomes for kiritaki and whānau through Kaupapa Māori solutions, which will benefit all New Zealanders.
In each rohe, we're establishing a panel of kaupapa Māori partners who will represent their rohe to develop local injury prevention initiatives and health services. Being part of the panel in one rohe doesn't prevent you from applying in another rohe. Panel members will be people or organisations who've been selected for their mātauranga and experience as designers, as researchers, or as providers or subject matter experts in these regions. Some panel members will be appointed based on their health experience with complex injuries or high-level needs.
Some panel members will need experience in injury prevention. Specifically, the panel will be required to design kaupapa Māori informed injury prevention initiatives to be delivered by Māori with a focus on the primary prevention of sexual violence. This means identifying and addressing the underlying causes of violence by focusing on the systemic, structural and social drivers that allow violence to occur in our communities.
It's important that design is Māori-led. Each panel will work with local whānau representatives to design specific solutions to problems that exist in their rohe. We're doing this because we recognise that a one-size-fits-all model doesn't work for Māori. We've heard from Māori providers, iwi, hapu and whānau, and we're acting on that feedback. The focus of this registration of interest and the panels we're forming specifically relates to the design of these solutions within these rohe.
If you have these skills and have whakapapa Māori or are a Māori owned and operated business, then please apply. This is a unique opportunity to be a part of creating change to positively impact on hauora of whānau Māori.
When the registration of interest closes, we'll shortlist applicants based on the criteria we've outlined. Our evaluation panel will include representatives from the rohe. They'll meet with shortlisted applicants to discuss their experience in more detail. Those who are invited to join the design panel will be offered a letter of agreement. Our ACC team will support the design process as needed.
We expect the panel to design kaupapa Māori initiatives and services for their rohe, set up a process for ACC kiritaki to access them, identify the health goals that are important to whānau, how we'll monitor and evaluate the solutions to measure our success, and how ACC will pay for the delivery.
Timeframes for planning and designing will vary, depending on the scope of the solution that's designed. We estimate the design process could take up to 6 months and require around 3 to 4 hours of commitment per week from panel members. We expect panel members to actively participate in the planning and design process, and some funding will be available to recognise this time commitment.
Once the solutions are designed, the next step for ACC will be connecting with kaupapa Māori providers in that region who can deliver them. This will be a separate process. Further details are in the registration of interest.
So what do you need to do? Your application needs to clearly tell us about your experience and provide evidence. This means giving us examples of what you've done, how you went about it, who was involved, and what the outcome for whānau was. This may include validation from local iwi or hapu.
Please follow the instructions in the registration of interest and be sure to send your application to us by the closing date and time.
If you have any pātai about the process or about this mahi in general, please contact us. We're here to help. Ka te ai ki konei. Kia ora tātou.
Kia ora tātou.